Hello, everybody. Welcome or welcome back. My name is Monique. I'm on a financial health journey to create an inheritance for the generations to come. Want to do that through consistency and discipline. Today, we are here to do a couple of different things. I want to do a closeout for my sinking funds for the month of August. Had to think through that and then show you guys my calendar for the month of September and a couple of changes that I'm making there as well. I'd like to thank anybody who's liked or commented on any of my videos, and especially those that have chosen to subscribe to my channel. Started this as a way to hold myself accountable, but I understand, recognize, and appreciate the community as a whole. So if you are rocking with me on this journey, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you haven't made up your mind yet, sit with me for a spell. At the end of this video, if it's content you find valuable or enjoyable, please feel free to subscribe. It's myself and Sweets, married, whole bunch of kids, figuring out our future, our family, and our finances, so the decisions we're making now won't negatively impact them in the future. So one of the things, and let's get in there and see, is that I have, there you go. So I have decided that I am going to create my own journal, right, for right now, because I am just not able to find the thing that I am looking for. And if anybody has done, if you've done budgeting before, you probably have done some planning as well. And you probably heard of bullet journaling or the Bujo method. And that's what I'm going to kind of do, because with that, you just basically build it with the pages that you're looking for. So that's what you're going to see going forward. Instead of spending any more money on any more digital planners, I'm just going to try and get those things that are most important to me, and I'm going to document those out. What I found is that I'm not as on track as far as some of my tasks are concerned. Now that's more so from personal, family, and work, but let's incorporate finances into it as well, right? Why not? So with that said, I've started this bullet journal. If you know anything about it, you know you develop a key on how you're going to track all of your tasks and what the different marks are going to mean. So I did that. I created a September calendar, and I've started to document things. So I'm going to kick it off starting now for this month of September. And then this page is just going to track the books that I'm reading and the shows that I'm watching. I have a page that I'm going to have for gratitude. It's one of the things I used to do, is just write down a sentence or two just on how you're grateful every day. So I'm going to bring that back for the Bujo journal style. And then from there, you're just really going to have a lot of dailies or a lot of different things that you want. So I'm documenting my schedule for work, and then my personal schedule, my inbox of things that are coming in. I'm starting to journal as well. Again, also, that was one of the things that I had. And then instead of like a habit tracker, just those things that daily I want to do. I want to pray. I want to plan. I want to practice. That's my sign language. I want to clean something, and I want to connect with somebody. So those are the 5 things that I tend to work on, and that's what's going to help me, I think, to stay on track or get a little bit better. So that's going to be my daily section as well. Now, with all of that said, what I've started to do up in the top corner of each of the days, you'll see here, I've got 3 different icons that you will see on every single page. And so with those 3 icons, one of them will lead you back to home. That's of course the house. That should look familiar, because that's what it does. It leads you back to whatever your home page is. That's the first thing. And the second thing is Google, the big G. That's going to be for the Google Calendar. So when I click on that, it's going to tell me it's sending me to an external link. And when I go there, I haven't signed in yet, but it'll take me to my Google Calendar. I can document in any events that I have, because sometimes I get, I find out, I'm like, oh, wow, I was supposed to document that I have that senior pick review that I have to do. And I do it on a page, and instead of writing myself a separate note, I thought, why not have a Google Access icon on each of these bullet journal pages, and then I'll be able to go in and make my events myself. Again, I think that's why the bullet journal method will help me, is because I can just create these myself instead of having to go out of one, go into another one, or write myself a note. I can just go ahead and create that link for myself. And then the third thing that I have here is the budget planner. So I clicked on that very quickly, and it takes me to a budget planner or financial planner that I did find on Etsy that I'm giving a try to. Okay, so with that, there are a lot of different pages that are in here. There are a lot of different items that are connected that I could use. I haven't gone fully into all of those, but for right now, I am going to go to my August review as far as there you go, my sinking funds are concerned, because that's what we are mainly here to talk about today. So let me just go ahead and pull that up. Now you should be able to see those numbers for the most part. I'll go in a little bit more so that you can see those numbers. And then, yeah, I think that I'm trying to get a look of it in the camera. That looks good. Okay. All right. So let's talk about it. One of the things that I noticed after doing this, I hadn't done this in a while either, where I wrote out all of my ending balances, starting balances and ending balances for a month. And so this really tells the tale in a lot of ways of how your spending went when you're going into your sinking funds themselves. So I have 3 different binders that I'm tracking here. My high priority sinking funds, that's the section that you see first. The family section is the section you'll see second, my family binder. And then my personal binder is the section that you will see third. They're all on the same one page, but I did divide them up that way because I do have 3 binders specifically that I'll be tracking. Went in and wrote down the beginning balance, wrote down the ending balance, and then what I added to it and what I took away. And what I noticed is, while I did spend quite a bit of money in the month of August, where I haven't had to do that in a lot of different months, my upward trend is still there. So the amount of money that I'm spending is less than the amount of money that I'm saving. And that's what I'm going to take away as the win. So for example, here I was able to save $300 for Xerxes. But when he did his wellness visit, that wiped him out. He is clean. He's just as dry. His envelope is just as dry as you can imagine. But with that said, I'm grateful that I had that money saved up, right? And so I just got to start over again. So I ended my car maintenance at $600. Home maintenance, I had $400 in there, but I did spend some of the money. Decor, I was at $100, but I had to spend some money out of that. Emergency, I have at $800, definitely working to get that up to $1,000. SC land, I'm at $233. If you don't know, I do own some land or property in South Carolina. And not only do I have to pay the property taxes for it at the beginning of the year, I'm also trying to save up so that I can get the land cleared off itself. Subscriptions is going to be a revolving sinking fund. I'm constantly putting money in, but I'm constantly taking money out as well. All of the subscriptions are paid for on my credit card, and then I reconcile that every week to make sure I'm putting that money back on paying my credit card on time. My deductibles was up to $300, but I did have to spend $60 on the consult for my tooth. My utility buffer, I'm not contributing any money to that other than sending anything that I get in interest from the high yield savings account to this particular bucket. So, and I haven't had to use any money out of it as of yet because my utility bill has come in pretty much okay so far. So I've just been able to collect out of that one and not spend anything. I have 100 in gifts and I definitely want to beef that up some more. Tax prep 50. And property insurance is another revolving one. So constantly putting money in, but constantly taking money out as well. Next, I have my family binder, and that's what you see here from Corinne. So Corinne's spendy. She's spendy, but she still has $90. And actually, I think that has changed as well. I actually think she took some money with her when we went out of town. So she may be down to more like $40 or $50, but it's all good, right? That's what we save it up for her to have to spend. Auntie's babies had 96. I did spend some money out this weekend. We did go home. And so I went to my brother's and celebrated Harrison's birthday and bought a gift for Alyssa as well. And so with that said, I know that that's going to take a hit. Little Bean is still holding steady at his amount. Haven't had to spend anything out of that yet. Bonus Babies is holding strong. Family Fun, I put $450 in there because I knew it was going to be expensive going to that virtual room and having for Sweets' mom. But she had a blast doing that. We did the Star Trek room and she was excited. And she was killing Klingons and everything else. She had herself a ball. She used to watch Star Trek a lot, and she really had a good time with that. But with that said, probably 400 of this is already spent, and it only has 50. But I haven't reconciled that yet, so I'm just putting the total amounts when I actually went through this, and I think it was the 30th or the 29th that I actually did it. Christmas has $190. I need to get another couple of hundred in there and I'll feel comfortable. And then we're slowly building family vacay back up again. And then you see here my personal binder and all of the envelopes there. And what I will say is I have a self-care $500 savings challenge I'm currently working on. And I think what I'm going to do is just put all of my money towards that self-care challenge. And then once that's complete, I'll divvy the money up into these particular categories. I can say Sweets and I have been looking at this list because when you add them all together, I think it was, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 18, 19, 20, 23, 26. I have 26 envelopes, and that's a lot. So I'm having to stretch the savings a little bit that I can put towards savings, stretching that a lot. So I am looking at ways that I can combine these together. So family vacay can probably combine with family fun. Definitely in the personal one, I can probably do some collapsing there as well. Maybe combine home decor with home maintenance. I'm not sure. So I am looking at to see how I can potentially combine everything. But with that said, when you look at the total amounts, and that's what you have showing down here, you'll see that my starting balance was $2,981. My contribution to all of the sinking funds was $2,366. I spent $1,446, and that leaves me with a total of $3,901. So again, I spent a lot, but I actually saved more. So my trend shows that it is still upward, and so that's something good that I'm going to be excited about. Okay, so that is it for my digital binder. I can also tell you that I am going to get back to in here in the digital binder creating some monthly goals. Like I mentioned before, not a habit tracker, but really some solid high level goals that I can try and achieve every month, and think I need to do that to help me stay on track. So I'm going to move that over here, and then I'm going to open up the monthly calendar, and let's talk about this piece as well just a little bit. So September, I did go in and mark out that September is going to be from September the 6th through October the 3rd. That's going to cover the September time frame. That's going to be 2 paychecks. I went in with some washi tape, documented out my paycheck cycle. So from the 6th through the 19th, that's 1 paycheck. Anything that's in there is covered by 1 paycheck. And then from the 20th through the 3rd, October 3rd, is covering the 2nd paycheck as well. So I went in and put in the washi tape. Then I went in and put in all of my bills and the amounts for those. And then I went in and identified any special appointments or days I needed to consider. So for example, my daughter's birthday, my oldest, is on the 13th. So I'm sure that I'm going to be spending some money on that day. I am actually going out of town to San Antonio for work from the 16th through the 19th. And so I have those days marked off. That is important because Sweets will not be able to go to work in South Carolina during this time period. So I did set aside some money out of my bonus to make sure that I offset the potential revenue that he would have for that time period. It's not the full amount, but it's enough that he can still handle and manage everything, even though he's not going in because he has to be stepdad during that time. The 23rd is when I have my tooth extraction scheduled for, so I have that documented here. The 27th is when we go in for the senior picture review. So I have that documented in here, as well as my payday amounts also. So those are the big dates that I have here. Now for Lawn Love, I always do it, I always get it done or cut the Thursday before I get paid, and then they take the money out the Monday after I get paid. I do have it in 2 times. I know for sure they're going to come on the 9th. I'm not sure about the 23rd, we'll see, but I did go ahead and document that in here. You'll also notice here, mortgage and auto are now listed on the pay date, and as well as the payday date. I think I said that wrong. And as well as for the 6th and for the 20th. And you have both auto and mortgage. So again, when I got my bonus, one of the things I wanted to do is put a little bit of cushion aside so that I would be able to start this split bill method. So let me tell you how that worked. When I got paid on the 23rd, I'd already taken care of my auto payment for 503. Okay. The paycheck on the 23rd had to cover mortgage, which is $715, which was fine. From my bonus, I took an extra $255 from my bonus, and I went ahead and made another partial auto payment. So I paid 503 on the 19th. When I got paid on the 23rd, I paid another $255 for auto. That means that going into the month of the 6th, I'm going into the date of the 6th for that paycheck, I can pay another $250 for my auto payment instead of paying the full amount of $503. So when I got paid on the 6th, I was supposed to pay $503 for that because the bill is due on the 19th. So it needed to come into this paycheck cycle. But because I paid $255 on the 23rd, that reduced the amount that I needed to pay on the 6th to $255. I'm taking that extra, adding it with some additional that I had left over from that I'm budgeting to have left over from this check on the 6th, and I'm going to make a partial mortgage payment of $365. I know for sure I'm going to have $255. The plan is I'll have enough to offset the cost. What's that? $365 minus $255. Yeah, $110. I'm going to add another $110. Even if I have to go dip into savings, I'm going to add another $110 to that $255, and I'm going to make a partial mortgage payment of $365 here. And then I should be on track to continue to do that. So on the 20th, I'll do the same. Auto payment $255, mortgage $365, etc. So that's how I was able to move to the split bill payment method for those two items. It's always been a struggle for me to try and save up enough money to have $365 for a mortgage payment and $255 set aside for a partial auto payment while I'm still paying those bills at the full amount when they typically are due. So having this bonus money has definitely helped to make it very easy to handle that transition. So I should be able to transition to a split bill method for those two items because of that change. All right, so over here, I just documented those items that I've already talked about, Kim's birthday and all of those things. You'll notice here there's a note about Kohl's and it has question marks. So for my city card that has a 0% balance transfer offer, I went ahead and did a balance transfer for the majority of the money that I owed for Kohl's. On my last video, I think I shared with you guys that I made a payment of $87, I think it was, for a monthly payment of Kohl's. And I went in and actually looked at my statement. And from that $87, if I'm not mistaken, it was like 63 of it, 53, 63, somewhere up in there, went towards interest because it is a 31% daily interest rate now that they are charging. And I've just had enough. I'm done. So what I'm going to do is, or what I did, was that bill is at $2,500, and I took, or that account was at $2,500. I took $1,500 and moved it over to City Card so that the bulk of the amount due for Kohl's is now gone. It's on my City Card, which is a 0% balance or 0% interest through March of 2026, which gives me enough time to try and cover those costs. I did leave $1,000 on the Kohl's bill, but if I can continue to pay them $90 a month, then it is going to be more of that going towards the actual principal amount versus going towards interest. And that is hopefully the plan on that. But what I don't know is what that amount will be. The balance transfer, they consider that to be a payment. So right now, Kohl's shows due on September the 19th a 0 amount. And that's why I have Kohl's with the question marks. I needed to check on that. and I need to check and see what my minimum amount will be, because overall, my city card payment now, even though it's 0% interest, is still going to be higher than it was before. Right now I'm paying $152, and so it's going to be higher than that. So I do need to make sure I'm offsetting the cost on that, which is another reason why I'm hoping this split bill method will help to free up a little bit more money, because I'm not doing big $700 or $500 amounts that I'm having to cover for any one thing at one time. And I got home today and I had a surprise. So you'll see here for to do tree cutting service, because yes, I have 2 large trees in the front of my house. And when I got home today, I noticed, or I found out that one of the huge branches at the bottom, it fell off, or got, I don't know if the lightning struck it, not sure what happened, but it's off. So good things about it and what I am grateful for. Number one, it fell right where my son would have normally parked his car, but he was at work. Thank God for that. Number 2, it fell completely in my yard and none of it is blocking the road. Thank God for that. Number 3, it did not touch the electrical pole or any of the electrical wiring. Thank God for that. So I'm grateful for all of that. But when I look at where the branch split from the tree, it doesn't look like it's alive. So it looks like it was dead and it's rotting out. So when they come, the tree cutting service comes, they may say, I need to have that whole tree cut down, and who knows how much that's going to cost. So again, that might be some more cost that's going to come on top of that city card, along with the amount for Kohl's as well that I'm moving over there. So I've got to figure out some things, because I don't want to end up in the same place that I did with the Discover, where I moved all of these balances over and still did not pay them off in the time frame that I had to make sure it was a 0% interest. So I'm going to have to get aggressive about it. I just don't know what the amount is that I need to get aggressive about. So we will have to figure that out. All right, so that is it. Those are the 2 things that I wanted to cover today. Video, again, longer than I thought. But I am looking great as far as my sinking funds are concerned, contributing more than I'm spending. And my monthly setup now feels a little different, because I have finally been able to do my split bill method for mortgage and auto. So we'll see. I'm hoping that will help my budget overall. Thanks everybody for your time. You guys have a good one.